Welcome to another Blades of Deceron devlog, a medieval fantasy game with humans, fauns, and whatever this is. Well, actually, I know what it is. It's a half zombie, half drowner, and therefore 100% OC do not steal. Alright, the quick rundown is this. They're called Boggies, and they're humans that have been transformed by the swamp, effectively being turned into zombie fishmen. They use the many rivers of the valley for navigation, which is why they're so widespread across the map. So in order to add them to the game, I need to import and sort all the art that the artists have made, which was over 2 years ago now, I think. That's how slow development has been. Then I'll create a new scriptable object for the raised data. Here I can specify that they're not supposed to be able to use any kind of equipment because I want them to just attack with their claws, which obviously requires me to create new animations since they're currently using the human animations for unarmed attacks. To be honest, this whole character system is getting a bit too complex for what I'm comfortable with. In order to determine how characters should be played, I have to ask the raised data object which fighting style is needed, which then gives me all the available character actions and the runtime animator controllers containing all the animations. It looks simple when drawn like this, but there's a lot of content to add and to keep track of whenever I create a new race. But after a few more days of work, I think it's done. While they're definitely not the most unique and interesting monster, it at least feels good to have gone through the process of adding a new race to the game. Now, in the campaign mode, they spawn from these nests that I've placed at random locations in the swamp and along the rivers of the map. In the future, I should probably make the player able to see them and destroy them so that they stop producing monsters. But right now I have to move on to implementing the next feature, ranged weapons. The javelins are already somewhat functional from back when I started working on them in one of the first devlogs that I made on this game. It's just that you can't really aim at the moment. So my idea is to add to the character animations torso rotation with rotation based on player input whenever you're using a ranged weapon. But since this turned out to be a lot harder than I thought, I took a break to make some changes to the world building instead. Long story short, before the start of the game, there was a king who was weak and decadent, unlike my Patreon and YouTube members who are amazing for supporting the channel and participating in Gladiatrons, our community gladiator game. Anyway, this king was deposed by Queen Sarah, who, as you all surely must know by now, is the current ruler of the Kingdom of Bavarian. But for reasons the player will discover in future updates, a few cities decided to declare independence and crown their own kings. I'll probably add these 3 new factions to the game sometime in the future, because now I've actually finished working on the throwing mechanic. I think it looks pretty good and you can do some fun stuff with it for sure. After that, I added throwing axes, knives, and of course rocks, so you can have the true looter experience. This same aiming system is now also used when you block. It's only available when using swiping controls, however, and I'm not sure how useful it actually is. If it turns out to be annoying, I'll probably just remove it. Anyway, throwing weapons are done, save for some polish. But what about bows? Not yet, unfortunately. I was too late to include them in this update, so it'll have to be for another time. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.